3 months ago, I received a phone call that broke my heart. The voice on the other end was trembling, not from age, but from desperation. "Dr. Whitaker," she whispered, "I think I'm losing my mind." This was Victoria, a 69-year-old former librarian from Boston. For 6 weeks, her left eye had been twitching so violently that she'd stopped leaving her apartment. She was convinced people were staring, judging, thinking she was having some kind of breakdown. But here's what Victoria didn't know, and what 99% of people experiencing eye twitches don't realize. That annoying little flutter isn't random. It isn't just stress. And it definitely isn't a sign that you're falling apart. It's actually your body screaming a very specific message. A message so important that ignoring it could lead to muscle cramps, heart irregularities, and even bone fractures down the road. I'm Dr. Thomas Whitaker. For 40 years, I've been what you might call a body whisperer, helping people over 60 decode the secret language their bodies are speaking. And today, I'm going to share something that will shock you. That eye twitch you've been ignoring, it's not a quirk, it's not age. It's your nervous system sending out an SOS signal about a deficiency so common that 8 out of 10 people over 60 have it. Yet most doctors never test for it properly. In the next 20 minutes, you'll discover the real culprit behind persistent eye twitching, why conventional medicine keeps missing it, and 3 remarkably simple solutions that can stop it cold. But more importantly, you'll learn to recognize the early warning signs your body gives you before serious problems develop. Because Victoria's story, it has a twist ending that will give you goosebumps.
Let me take you inside my examination room last spring. Sitting across from me was Frank, a 73-year-old retired mechanic from Detroit. His hands, which had rebuilt thousands of engines with precision, were now shaking slightly as he tried to drink his coffee. "Doc, this damn eye won't quit twitching," he said, pointing to his left eyelid. "Started about 2 months ago. My wife thinks I need glasses. I think I'm going crazy." But as Frank talked, I noticed something else. He mentioned waking up with leg cramps 3 times that week. He'd been having trouble sleeping, and when he stood up, he sometimes felt dizzy for a few seconds. Now here's where most doctors would focus on each symptom separately. Eye drops for the twitch, sleep aids for the insomnia, maybe blood pressure medication for the dizziness. But I've learned something in 4 decades of practice. Your body doesn't speak in isolated symptoms. It speaks in patterns. And Frank's pattern was screaming one word: magnesium. Here's the fascinating truth about eye twitching that they don't teach in medical school. Your eyelid is controlled by the most delicate nerve fibers in your body. These tiny nerves are like ultra-sensitive electrical wires, and they need precise mineral balance to fire correctly. Think of it this way. You know how when your car battery is dying, the headlights start to flicker before they go out completely? That's exactly what's happening with your eye. It's not the muscle that's failing, it's the electrical system that controls it. And here's the kicker. Research shows that after age 60, our bodies become terrible at holding on to magnesium. We absorb less from food, we lose more through our kidneys, and chronic stress literally burns through our magnesium stores like a furnace. But Frank's case taught me something even more important. When I ran comprehensive tests, not just the basic blood panel most doctors order, but specific mineral assessments, I discovered something remarkable. His blood magnesium looked normal. But that's because your body will literally steal magnesium from your bones and muscles to keep your blood levels stable. It's like checking your wallet when all your money is tied up in investments. You might look broke, but the real wealth is hidden somewhere else. Now, I need to be honest with you. Eye twitching can have other causes: too much caffeine, fatigue, certain medications, or in rare cases, neurological conditions. That's why persistent twitching should always be evaluated by a healthcare provider first. But in my experience, when someone over 60 comes to me with eye twitching, especially if they also have sleep issues, muscle cramps, or that tired but wired feeling, we're usually looking at what I call the hidden deficiency. In Frank's transformation, within 3 weeks of addressing his mineral status, not only did his eye stop twitching, but he was sleeping through the night and woke up feeling 20 years younger. The solution wasn't some miracle drug. It was simply giving his nervous system the raw materials it needed to function properly.
Now, before I tell you exactly what Frank did, I need to warn you about something that might save you hundreds of dollars and months of frustration. Walk into any pharmacy and you'll find shelves lined with magnesium supplements. Here's what they won't tell you. Most of them are about as useful as swallowing pebbles. Why? Because not all magnesium is created equal. It's like the difference between trying to fuel your car with crude oil versus refined gasoline. Your body can only use magnesium that's in the right form. Take magnesium oxide. It's cheap, it's everywhere, and it has terrible absorption. Studies show only about 4% actually gets into your system. The rest just gives you expensive bathroom trips. But magnesium glycinate? That's magnesium bound to an amino acid that your body recognizes and welcomes with open arms. Absorption rates jump to 80–90%. Here's Frank's protocol, what I now call my nervous system reset. And while results vary from person to person, I've seen it work wonders for hundreds of patients. The morning foundation. Every morning, 30 minutes before breakfast, Frank started drinking what I call the Electrician's special. Sounds fancy, but it's just warm water with a pinch of high-quality sea salt and fresh lemon juice. Why does this work? Your nervous system runs on electricity, and electricity needs the right balance of minerals to flow smoothly. The sea salt provides natural sodium and trace minerals. The lemon helps your body absorb them efficiently, and the warm water kickstarts your digestive system. Frank told me it was like flipping a switch in his brain every morning. The evening wind down. Here's where most people get it wrong. They take their magnesium with dinner, along with 5 other supplements, and wonder why nothing changes. Frank started taking 400 milligrams of magnesium glycinate 1 hour before bed, with a small glass of tart cherry juice. The cherry juice isn't just for taste. It's naturally high in potassium, which works with magnesium like dance partners. Within 3 days, Frank was sleeping deeper than he had in years. His wife said he stopped grinding his teeth, and that annoying eye twitch started to settle down. The sunshine connection. This is the piece most doctors completely miss. You can take all the magnesium in the world, but without adequate vitamin D, your body struggles to use it effectively. Frank started taking 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 daily with his breakfast, specifically with foods containing healthy fats, like his morning eggs cooked in olive oil. Vitamin D is fat-soluble, so it needs fat to be absorbed properly. But here's the crucial part about vitamin D and sunlight, and this is where many people get confused. Your skin produces vitamin D when exposed to direct UVB rays from the sun. However, window glass blocks these UVB rays completely, so sitting by a sunny window won't help with vitamin D production. For safe sun exposure, Frank aimed for 15 to 20 minutes of direct sunlight on his arms and face several times a week. The exact time depends on your skin type and location, but the key is direct exposure without sunscreen for short periods. Now here's what made Frank's recovery so remarkable. He didn't just follow this protocol, he made it a ritual. Morning electrolyte drink while reading the newspaper. Evening magnesium while watching the news. Quick morning sun exposure while checking his garden. The beauty of this approach is that it supports your entire nervous system, not just the eye twitch. Better sleep, steadier hands, more stable mood, stronger bones, and for Frank, within 6 weeks, he wasn't just twitch-free. He was back under the hood of classic cars, hands steady as a surgeon's.
6 months later, Frank called me with news that still gives me chills. "Doc,
he said, his voice filled with excitement. "I just finished rebuilding a 1967 Mustang engine. My hands haven't been this steady since I was 50. But then he said something that changed how I think about aging forever. You know what the real miracle was? It wasn't just fixing the twitch, it was realizing that my body wasn't giving up on me, I was giving up on it. That hit me like a lightning bolt, because Frank was absolutely right. We've been programmed to believe that after 60, it's all downhill, that twitches, aches, and fatigue are just part of getting older, that we should lower our expectations and accept decline. But what if that's completely wrong? What if your body at 60, 70, or 80 is still fighting for you every single day? What if those annoying symptoms aren't signs of failure, but desperate attempts at communication? That eye twitch isn't your body waving a white flag, it's your nervous system waving a red flag, trying to get your attention before bigger problems develop. I've witnessed this awakening hundreds of times now. Victoria, the librarian I mentioned at the start, she didn't just overcome her twitching, she started a book club at her local senior center and now leads discussions for 30 people every week. Her eyes are bright, steady, and full of life. Frank continues rebuilding engines with the precision of a master craftsman. But more than that, he's mentoring young mechanics, passing on 50 years of knowledge with hands that barely trembled before he found his solution. These aren't miraculous recoveries. They're examples of what happens when you stop ignoring your body's signals and start responding to them with intelligence and care. So, if your eye has been twitching, if you've been brushing it off as just one of those things, I want you to consider a different approach. First, have persistent twitching evaluated by a healthcare provider to rule out any serious underlying conditions. That's always step one. But if no major issues are found, then ask yourself, when did you last pay attention to your mineral status? When did you last spend time in direct sunlight? When did you last treat your nervous system like the sophisticated electrical network it is? Your body has been patient. It's been sending gentle signals, hoping you'll listen. That twitch could be the beginning of a conversation that changes everything. Start with one small step. Try the morning electrolyte ritual. Explore magnesium glycinate in the evening. Get your vitamin D levels checked. Spend a few minutes in direct sunlight. Because here's what I've learned in 40 years of practice. Your body wants to work with you, not against you. It wants to be strong, steady, and reliable. It just needs you to provide the right raw materials. At 60, 70, or 80, your most confident, energetic days don't have to be behind you. They might be just one conversation with your body away. Before I let you go, I need to share one more story, one that still brings tears to my eyes every time I think about it. Her name was Dorothy, and she was 76 when her son brought her to see me. Dorothy had been a seamstress her entire life, the kind of woman who could thread a needle in dim light and sew a perfect hem by feel alone. But for 3 months, her right eye had been twitching so severely that she couldn't focus on her work. The woman who had sewn wedding dresses for 3 generations of the same family was now afraid to touch a needle. When Dorothy sat in my office, she wouldn't make eye contact. Her shoulders were hunched, her hands folded tightly in her lap. She whispered, "Doctor, I think it's time to put away my sewing machine for good." The heartbreak in her voice was unmistakable. This wasn't just about an eye twitch. This was about identity, purpose. The thing that had defined her for 7 decades was slipping away. But as Dorothy described her symptoms, I heard a familiar pattern. The twitching had started after a particularly stressful period. Her husband had been hospitalized for 2 weeks. She'd been eating poorly, sleeping badly, surviving on coffee and worry. When I gently suggested that her symptoms might be related to mineral depletion from stress and poor nutrition, Dorothy looked at me with such fragile hope that I had to pause. "You mean this might not be permanent?" she asked. "Dorothy," I said softly, "I think your body is just asking for help." 3 weeks later, my phone rang, but instead of Dorothy's voice, I heard the gentle hum of a sewing machine in the background. "Dr. Whitaker?" Dorothy's voice was stronger, clearer. "I'm calling from my sewing room. I just finished hemming my great-granddaughter's communion dress, and I wanted you to hear the machine running." The emotion in her voice was overwhelming. But the story doesn't end there. 6 months later, Dorothy didn't just return to sewing, but she started teaching free sewing classes at the community center. "Teaching keeps my hands busy and my mind sharp," she told me. "But more than that, I'm showing other women my age that we're not done yet." Last month, I received a package from Dorothy. Inside was a beautifully embroidered pillowcase with a note that read, "Dr. Whitaker, you didn't just stop my eye from twitching. You reminded me that my hands still have work to do, my heart still has love to give, and my story isn't over yet." That pillowcase sits on my desk as a daily reminder of something profound. We're not just treating symptoms, we're restoring hope. We're not just balancing minerals, we're returning people to themselves. Your eye might be twitching today. You might feel like your body is betraying you, like your best days are behind you. But what if this moment, this seemingly small annoyance, is actually an invitation? An invitation to listen more carefully, to care more deeply, to discover that the body you thought was failing you might actually be the key to your most vibrant chapter yet. So tell me, when your eye stops twitching, when your hands are steady again, when you feel like yourself once more, what beautiful thing will you create? What story will you continue writing? Because I have a feeling it's going to be extraordinary.